Hello, everyone. We're at week 8. This is after spring break. Hope everybody had a nice spring break, whichever one you took. First order of business this week is everybody needs to take your exam by Friday at the latest. You can start taking it now. And hopefully you'll be looking at some of the example problems on the discussion. I've posted an example word problem for everybody to try and discuss. There will be word problems on the exam. Um, but this week we are moving on from what's on the exam. So the tips and tricks videos for this week include one of my favorite stories about castle walls. So please watch those. And now I'm going to show you one of my word problem examples. And voila, I'm back. So here's my word problem. And I'll read it out loud. You can sort of absorb it. A flag has a rectangle shape. The length is 15 inches less than twice the width. The area is 500 inches squared. Find the dimensions. So when I assign word problems, I assign 4 things. The first thing is to assign what the variables equal. And I always look for what is the problem asking for. It says find the dimensions. So my variables are going to be the dimensions, the length and the width. So since the length is based on what the width is, I'm going to say the W equals the width. And so then the length is 15 inches less than, whenever there's a than, it comes second. So it's going to be something minus 15, twice the width, which is 2W. And that's going to be equal to the length. So that's going to be your first point right there. It's just, if you can identify that, you will get 1 point. So then I kind of look at my picture. Here's my flag, and this is the width, and the length is going to be 2W minus 15. And it says that the area is 500 inches squared. Area is length times width. So I'm going to go W times 2W minus 15 is equal to 500, which is the area. Length times width is equal to the area. So then I have to solve this problem. So right now you're going to get another point for just writing this equation down. So that's going to be your solving part. So I'm going to multiply this out and see if we can identify what this is. So if I distribute the W, I have 2W squared minus 15W equals 500. As soon as I see a W squared, I'm identifying this as a quadratic. Whenever there's a W squared, you need to set it equal to 0. So I subtract that 500. So I have 2W squared minus 15W minus 500 equals 0. The only way to solve a quadratic, the first choice anyway, is to use factoring. And so since there's a 2 in front and I can't factor a 2 out because this isn't an even number, I need to use the AC method for factoring this. So I take 2 times negative 500, and that's going to be negative 1,000, and that has to add to the middle term, which is negative 15. So since this is negative, we need to find a difference between 2 numbers. And I didn't see it right away, but then I start listing them. And what I did is I start with 1 times 1,000, 2 times 500, 4 times 250. And as they're getting closer together, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll find one. So anyway, what I found was it was 25 times 40. And since the bigger number has to have the negative sign, it's negative 40. So what I do is I split this up. So I have 2W squared minus 40W plus 25W minus 500 equals 0. This is also a review for factoring. So now we have 4 terms and we use grouping. And I factor out a 2W there. And I'm left with W minus 20. And then I can factor out a 25 here. And I'm left with W minus 20. which is good because I needed I needed to have these match when I'm doing that. And so our final factoring is going to be 2w minus or plus 25, which is these two, times w minus 20 equals 0. Now I'm going to use the zero product property to figure out what w is. This one's easy. W equals 20. This one is w equals negative 25 over 2. Now I have to think logically. I have two answers. Well, what are the two answers? So I'm talking about dimensions of a flag. I can't have a negative dimension. So I'm going to cross that one out. That's going to be our width. But they ask also for the dimensions. So by the way, here's your third point. If you get to w equals 20, then you have 3 of the 3 points so far. The fourth point is answering the question. What are the dimensions? Well, w is 20. The length is going to be 2 times 20 minus 15, which is 25. Is that right? 40 minus 15? Yep, 25. So that would be answering the question. So I hope that helps. There's a lot of review in here, reviewing of factoring. Draw a picture. Pictures always help. And if you guys are listening all the way to the end of this video, there's a reminder, there's an extra word problem on the discussion for this week. So I know this was a long one, but hopefully this will help. Remember to take your test and good luck. Bye.